Welcome to June's Simply Grace and Grit team meeting. First off, it's June. That's insane. SFR is this month. It's a week from tomorrow for if you're a director and above, which is insane. Some people it's a week from today because they're going early. So I know that there are a lot of people on here that are going in person. If you're going in person, or even if you're going virtual, really this is our last meeting, our last get together before it. We have literally been talking about this for a year, and next meeting we'll still be talking about it, and we're going to talk about it every single year because it's something that you have to experience in person to even get a glimpse of what is going to happen or what is anything. You leaving?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Love you. Bye. Sorry. Eric's on night, so he's not joining us tonight. But you let the dogs back in?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. But SFR is unexplainable. I'm not going to talk about it too much. Just know that it's next week. Know that your leaders are, some of your leaders are attending. I will still be working. I will still be available, but just keep that in mind when you're expecting responses. Okay. So May promotions, first things first, certified consultants on our team. If I'm your director, Janelle Diaz, Lindsay, Fralix. Hopefully I said that right, Lindsay, and Natalie Ford. So congratulations to all of y'all for promoting to certified permanent pay raise. Amazing. Love it. All those things. I recognize people that were paid at title in May because we're going to talk about this, but April and May, who's feeling a little bit of what's the word?
A dip. It's a dip, Whit.
A dip. We'll just call it the dip. We'll call it the dip. You can call it whatever you want, but by a raise of hands or by where are my, yes. By a raise of hands or in the chat, please let me know if you're feeling some type of way. Maybe you're feeling discouraged in your business. Maybe you're feeling like things aren't going like they've been going. Just know that you are not alone. The lull. Yes. April and May were great for you. June, not so much. Okay. So, yeah, all the above. I'm feeling it a lot. Just know that it's a real thing. Okay. And again, we're going to talk about that, but I did decide to recognize those paid at title because that's a huge deal to be paid at title in a dip or in a lull, because that means that your foundation is spread wide for that title. Now, I will say, and y'all know I'm always going to be that little bit of push. If you're getting paid at title in a lull or a dip easily, it's time to promote and push yourself to the next level. Okay. But those paid at title, no pressure. Ashley Crabtree, Jennifer Peterson, Jennifer Palmer, and Stephanie Schroeder. Okay. So 3 of those ladies are speaking with us tonight. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. May top 10 PRV number 1, and she's talking about PRV tonight, Jennifer Peterson. She's also actually first for team and group right now, as of a few hours last time I checked. Number 1, Jennifer Peterson. Number 2, Meredith McCowan. Number 3, Haley Loggins. Number 4, Sarah Evans. 5, Kara Norris. 6, Natalie Ford. 7, Stephanie Schroeder. 8, Jennifer Palmer. 9, Tina Ingram, and 10, Chelsea Geller. So congratulations to all of you for top 10 PRV. Top sponsoring, Taylor Beaver and Ashley Crabtree. They both sponsored someone last month. So congratulations to them. Again, doing that in a hard month is so important. Most active frontline. Sarah Evans had 6, which is amazing. Megan Moody and Ashley Crabtree both had 5. So to be a leader or to be paid at title as a leader, you have to have a minimum of 3. So if you're a star like these ladies are, or a superstar consultant, and you already have almost double that, that's a great start to building that foundation that we're always talking about. Okay. Team sales in May were still amazing. $58,134. We were number 2 out of my uplines group of almost 15,000, number 2. So that's insane. We're still doing big things, knowing that this is real. Those feelings that you have are real. And we haven't really talked about it on our team page because it's hard to express that in typing or in writing for me, to make sure that you get the emotion from me, that you know that anyone who has reached out to me independently, one-on-one about this, we've already had this conversation, and you know that last month was hard. It was really freaking hard. And last month was probably the hardest I've ever worked in my 4 years of doing this. But the difference is what you continue to put in. So I still had 3,100 PRV last month because I worked my, you know what, off, okay, to get there. It wasn't easy. And a lot of you, by a show of hands or by putting in the chat, who has joined in the last 2 years in Cincy? Who has joined? Yeah, that's pretty much, yep, a majority of everyone who's on here tonight. So you have to think that Cincy for the last 2 years has been in a hyper growth area, section, year of their business. So when you joined, I hate to break it to you, but Cincy was really easy. Okay. Our business was really easy. People came to you to order. People were wanting to party because they were in their home all the time and they wanted to smell good and COVID and all of those things, right? So know that it was easy when those things were happening. And that's amazing. Like that hyper growth was something that never could have been predicted by Cincy. Okay. But you have to remember a few things. One, I want you to always remember that. Okay. So when COVID started, that's when things were hyper growth season. We're not always going to be a hyper growth. If you watch the video that I shared from, oh, my mind's drawn a blank, Jennifer, Sylvia, I know you know, what's her last name? Anderson. She explained it to a T. I could not have said it more perfectly than how she explained it of a business. It always is going to have the ebb and flows, the up and downs. That's part of a business, any business. Okay. And I shared a link the other day with our leaders about Target, who is going through the exact same thing that every other business in America is going through. Okay. So inflation is crazy high right now. Okay. We don't want to forget that. Okay. But Cincy is doing so much to help us as consultants right now. Okay. So promotions, as always, bundles, discounts, all of this on catalog items, LTOs. There are like even the release that we had today with the Marvel, anyone who showed any interest in it, they ended up purchasing because they got something for free with it. And I made sure they knew that. Okay. Buying a warmer and getting 3 bars, why not, right? I mean, you have to remember that these are things that Cincy is giving us to use to help us further ourselves along, okay? And I want to quote the workstation. And one thing that you may have realized and you may have not, I don't screenshot the workstation. I don't screenshot the news tab because we're all independent business owners. You should go and read it yourself. But I'm going to read this from the workstation because I think it's super important. The news article that Cincy put out a couple of weeks ago about this situation specifically, the cost of goods and services have gone up for all, and Cincy isn't immune to these increases. So that's saying right now that Cincy is having to deal with this too, period. We are doing whatever we can, whenever and wherever we can to give back and support you and your business. Okay. So I want y'all to keep that in mind that we are independent business owners. We are consultants of Cincy. We are not a Cincy employee. Like that's just not our title. We are pretty much contractors of Cincy. Okay. So they could easily have done a lot of things that weren't helpful to us, but they are choosing to help us. And if you're not taking advantage of those things, if you're not sharing those bundles, if you're not sharing that they're even helping us, right? Huge. If anyone else is having audio issues, please let me know. I do want to share this, and I know Katrina just said she's going to pop off, but this isn't something that she needs to hear too. This was actually shared. We have weekly SSD meetings with Dan and Lacey and Deb, and they have permission to share this, but currently, as of last week, June 2022, so this month is the 3rd best June so far in our company in the last 18 years, because we'll be 18 this year in July, right? So 17 years. Yeah, 17 years. June is the third best June so far in the company. First was June 2020 and second was June 2021. That should hit you some type of way. Okay. That means our J months, our bad months, our slow months, whatever, they've been a lot worse than this. But because it's what you're used to as a consultant, if you joined April, May, June, July, August 2020, you were at the start of our hypergrowth as a company. Okay. And things were amazing. And they still are amazing, because here comes the mindset thing. We have to remember that this is a business. And I know that some of y'all, it's not necessarily a full-time business, or maybe it's something that you're not looking to make a full-time income from. And there are some of us that are, but in the end, Cincy is a business. Okay. And it's $1 billion business. Okay. So just know that when you're feeling the impacts of your business, of the big business, one, you're not alone. But two, like, this is, I don't want to say normal, but there's more than one or two of you that are struggling. Okay. Yes, they are still spoiling us. Exactly, Jennifer. And J months aren't real. Exactly. I thought that said are real at first. And I was like, no, because that's a mindset thing. And I'm going to wrap this all up. It's going to come full circle at the end. But I just want y'all to know that about, our current state, and we will have our meeting tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to know if we're still on track to have the third best June ever. But I thought that was super important to share. Okay. So with all that being said, I have asked some of our top producers in our team to speak about what they're really, really good at. Okay. Some of these people have never trained before. Some of these people are feeling those effects this month. Let's just be honest. Y'all know I'm always going to be honest with you. But in the end, we're all in this together. We're all doing the same things. We don't all have the same goals, specifically numbers or whatever, but we're here. We're still all here. We're still all showing up. Okay. So Kara Norris is going to kick us off, and she is going to be talking about PRV. So Kara, if you want to just unmute, I am going to, yep, you go.
Okay,
girl.
So I'm Kara, and I am under Jen Palmer. She's my mentor. She also happens to be my cousin, but she's just awesome anyway. I live outside of Washington, D.C., and my husband works for the government, and we are on the civilian side of PCSing to Hawaii ? You know how that works. So. So our life's kind of crazy, but I started with Cincy at the very end of February. So it hasn't been very long. It's been kind of an interesting adventure for me. And basically I tried to learn a whole lot of stuff before I started, which was amazing. Right away, Jen was really great about saying, these are some resources to get going. And I started watching Whitney's videos and Jennifer Anderson's videos and trying to learn as much as I could before I started. So once I started, I really tried to use the wisdom from those people to kind of set myself up into a structure that I could work out for myself and kind of hone it as I've gone through. So it's only been a few months, but everything that I've learned from them has been real and true. So that's my first piece of advice is don't reinvent the wheel, take the wheel and decorate it for yourself. And I really think that so I live in Northern Virginia, which is like this, it's like living in an episode of Real Housewives of Loudoun County. And there are established Cincy people, and I don't have any local customers. And some of that's just because of the environment that I'm in. Some of it's that we've moved around a lot, being in military and all of that kind of stuff. So I would say that 98% of my customers are not hear. So I had to figure out a way to, how can I build a system to bring in those sales that wasn't necessarily the live in-person things? And how do I sell things for people to smell when I have to like figure out how to actually get it under their noses? So some of the things that I really worked on was, I saw pretty quickly that Facebook parties were not, it was a unicorn event to get a Facebook party where people were really engaged. So I had to pretty quickly figure out, how do people want to hear about Scentsy? Because a lot of the people in my world didn't know about it. It's not really, I'm mostly from the Midwest, and it just wasn't something that has really hit into a lot of bubbles there. And so I was kind of teaching everybody all of this stuff all at once. And so for me, I have found that more people were interested in texting than doing Facebook parties. So then I had to learn about ways that I could do that in an effective way. I didn't feel like I could sit and text my 35 customers individually. So I tried to figure out a way to use technology to my advantage. So I started using Project Broadcast, which is an amazing way to, you basically get your own business line phone number from them, and you can pick the phone number and then you can text from there. And it's like sending a group text, but it's all personalized. And so, and when people reply, it's not replied in a group, it's replied right to me. It's amazing. You can drip in, like people can say that they want to know anytime something for Disney comes up. And so you can hone in exactly what people want to hear when they want to hear it. So people can subscribe to things and unsubscribe. And it's just kind of like a wonderful way for me to communicate personally with people. But then the way that I've learned to use it is now I can have texting parties, and they all run automatically through this system, very similar to how you do Facebook parties, but it's happening through their texting, and people can choose to come and go as they want to on their speed. But you still have to connect with people. You still have to make the choice to come in and find out who they are, what are they interested in. You know, I took a lot from Sylvia's trainings where she talked about how, you know, she asked questions and did surveys and things to kind of fine tune a party and what she should talk about and what things not to talk about, how not to waste your time or their time on things. If nobody has any pets, why are you going to spend 2 days talking about a pet line? And just really taking time to know who your customers are and finding out how they want to communicate. And then I knew already that I needed to figure out a way that could multiply out. I know that someday when I have 400 customers, I'm not going to be able to text them individually. So I wanted to set myself up in a system that would multiply out with the same kind of work ethic and manpower that didn't require that. Then the other piece for PVR is really honestly is Scentsy Club, because those are going to be predictable, relatively predictable and repeatable amounts that are going to come in. Again, just to kind of wrap it up, my two things are I'm using texting more than Facebook parties. I don't close out a Facebook group. I keep using a Facebook group to give them special things, but I start with my VIP group first, usually a day or two ahead of time, and then to those Facebook groups. And because a lot of people won't come over to my VIP group, but then they'll be interested in something that'll be like a one-off special. And then and texting parties, I use the micro websites that I've showed you. And that has also been the personal shopping link. I just turn it into that little website thing and they can share it really easily. It looks nice on their end and it makes me look like I know what I'm doing, which so those are some things using technology to help me to do the heavy lifting for me. And Scentsy Club, 22 seconds.
Did you time yourself? Oh my gosh, so funny. Yeah, so
count on me, Whitney.
No, I love it. I love it. So many good tips. And so we have a training of Project Broadcast coming up, and we have a training for those links that you're talking about, because we did talk about that a little bit. Those are huge, but again, that Project Broadcast is an easier way for you to have that one-on-one
Right.
That's what it's all about. And
It's
so
all about that.
here's the other part of that. You can use it with your customers. And then as you build a team, you can use it with your team. So I love that. I love it, love it, love it. All righty. Stephanie Schroeder, you are up next.
Oh boy, 5 minutes. Okay. So
don't feel like you have to stay at 5 minutes, five-ish minutes. Y'all know I'm long-winded too. So I totally get it.
So I'm in my daughter's room and the lighting is horrible. I've been trying to figure it out, but you don't need to see my face, right? I'm Stephanie Schroeder, for those of you that don't know me. I am part of the Midwest constituent of Simply Grace and Grit. I am in Minnesota, and you'll hear it as I speak. I cannot wait to meet you guys. I'm just beyond. Okay, moving on. I am talking about PRV. I joined Scentsy September, so it's been 8 months. And of course, automatically when you think PRV, you think parties, you think sharing, you think social media, all the platforms, you think email your customers, personal conversations, but you guys all know this. So I'm trying to think of something to share with you that is unique and not always talked about very much, that has really helped boost my personal PRV in the last 8 months. And so I chose the topic generosity in your business to talk about. 5 minutes. Okay. So, so generosity, it's one of Scentsy's core values. If you don't know them, you should. Simplicity, authenticity, generosity for people in the back. It's the right thing to do. First of all, it makes you feel good to do it. It makes others feel good when you do it. It's usually unexpected, which is really very sad. But in this day and age, especially with prices the way they are, yada, yada, it's usually pretty unexpected when someone is generous with their business these days, which also makes it extremely appreciated and even overappreciated these days. And honestly, you are giving, but it also boosts your PRV. And I'll talk about why. So generosity doesn't necessarily automatically equal PRV, right? You're giving things, you're being generous with your business and what you have, right? But it's essential and extremely important to me and my business. It's one of the reasons why I started Scentsy in the first place, was to have a platform to give to others, be generous, give to the community, do the right thing, yeah, all that stuff. And a result, it really has helped my PRV immensely. I send a scent circle with a handwritten thank you, but is that generous? Yes. But is that customer service? Yeah. That's not what I'm talking about. So not customer service. Yes, it's generous when you do things like that, but think bigger. Like, what can you do with your business, with what you have, to do bigger things, to give bigger things back? So I'm just going to give some examples of what I've done in the last 8 months. This is going to be different for everybody. You have to really sit and reflect on where you're at in your business, what you have to give, what you can give. Just think about where you're at. This is going to be different for everybody, but I'll just kind of tell you what I've been doing. The first one is fundraisers. So I've done 3 big fundraisers in the last 8 months, and you actually have to actively look for organizations that are in need of fundraising. They're not going to come to you. Even if you put a post out on Facebook that says, who needs to raise money for an event, or who needs uniforms or whatever, people typically don't respond to that very well. You actually have to actively go out and ask, reach out and ask. If you have, kids in school or sports teams, churches, different religious organizations, dance studios, there's always travel, there's always costumes, there's always uniforms. People need money for lots of different things. If there's a medical foundation or a specific disease or diagnosis that's special to you, there's always foundations that are looking for money. Reach out and ask. Just ask, hey, I see that your daughter's in dance, you're going to nationals this summer. Do you guys need help raising money for travel? Something like that. Just reach out and ask. People are not going to come to you for this. So the ones I've done, and by the way, there's so many trainings on fundraisers. I'm not even going to talk about it, but just search on YouTube. There's so many different ways to do it. You can do a Facebook party. You can do the full catalog. You can do one item. You can do a scent circle fundraiser. You can do a fragrance slot, anything. Really, the sky's the limit with fundraisers. You just have to ask. You have to figure out who you want to ask, make a big list, and just start asking, because some people will say no, and that's fine, but some people will say yes. And so, for example, I've done 3, and they were all via Facebook party, just by choice of the people that said yes. One was for an Alzheimer's foundation, and we did a Facebook party, and we used the rewards to get Scentsy products to make a bunch of baskets for a silent auction. And in the end, they didn't want my commission, but I actually donated my commission to the foundation because it was the right thing to do. And I did a private school fundraiser. They used the rewards and my commission to buy more Scentsy product for baskets for a silent auction to raise money for their school. And the last one I did was a nonprofit organization that supports preemies and their families that are in the NICU. And I donated my commission to the organization. And then what I did after that is the rewards that I got for that party, I put together a basket and I donated it to them because they just had their silent auction a couple weeks ago. So, so you do what they ask. And then if you can go above and beyond to donate extra, it's always appreciated. Does it make money if you are giving your commission? No. Does it get you PRV? Absolutely. Absolutely, it gets you PRV. No matter what type of fundraiser you do, you're getting PRV from it. And you know what else you're getting? You're getting customers. You're getting customers. It expands your customer base even more than a party would, because you're getting people that aren't necessarily looking for Scentsy or are even interested in Scentsy, but they want to support this organization. They want to give to the organization as much as you do. So they might try Scentsy, even though they might not have tried it otherwise. And so you're getting PRV, you're expanding your customer base. And when they get their Scentsy and they love it and they run out, guess who they're going to call? They're going to call you. So I'm all about fundraisers. I'm not an expert, but there are a lot of, like I said, a lot of YouTube trainings. Just look up Scentsy fundraising and you'll find a ton. And it's fun. I have fun doing it. The second way that I have used generosity in my business in the last 8 months is actually just donating product. So whenever I see that an organization is in need of donations for a silent auction or a particular event that they're holding, I always donate something. And it usually comes from what I have on hand, something I've gotten from a catch-all party reward, something like that. It's like either a mini warmer and a bar of wax, or if I have a bigger warmer and a wax bundle, I'll donate it. Like I said, I don't spend a lot of money, but I usually use rewards. So stuff that I've given to, for example, the nonprofit organization for the preemies in the NICU. I actually work for a nonprofit called mHealth Fairview, and they're always raising money for the organization. We raise money for a patient assistance program. I've given Scentsy for lots of different fundraisers. American Heart Association. My kids' school had a teacher appreciation week, and they asked for small donations like hand sanitizer, chapstick, stuff for teachers during the week. You better believe I gave a bunch of Scentsy circles with my information on it, because why not? Swag bags, like there was recently a 5K for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and they were looking for donations for swag bags. So each runner got a bag, and I put a business card, a sample, and a pen in each swag bag. And I also donated to the event, and so my name was on their advertising. It's really simple. And you better believe I have, even though I'm donating product, you better believe I have my information all over these items. My information is all over it, because they might not know me, but they know that I am a generous person because I'm giving to these organizations, and they're going to love their Scentsy, obviously. And when they run out, they're going to contact me. So again, you're being generous with your business. They see your name, they see the kind of person you are and the kind of business you run, and they will reach out to you when they need to. So if you're just starting out in your business, or you honestly don't feel like you have the means to donate yourself, like volunteer for things, but wear your Scentsy gear. Like, I don't know, volunteer to read it, be a reader at your kid's school or something, and wear a Scentsy shirt. And people will see like, oh, this lady sells Scentsy, but she's also kind and generous with her time, and she likes to give back to the community and things like that. It's important. There's a lot of volunteer opportunities. Just give yourself if you can't give stuff. So so being generous in your business feels good, makes other people feel good. It shows the kind of person you are and the kind of business you run. I feel like that's really important for me. And people are going to buy from you when they know, like, and trust you, right? We hear that over and over and over. So give them someone to know, like, and trust. Generosity is rewarded. You will never regret it. I promise you.
So good. So this is just a totally different way of thinking about PRV, right? A lot of times I hear people say, I need to grow my customer base. Everything that she just talked about is a way to grow your customer base. It may not give you an order today or in a minute or tomorrow, but in the long run, building your business, getting your name out there, doing all those things, they're going to add up to the future teamies, the lifelong customers and all those things. So I love that you took a totally different spin on this. If you don't know Stephanie personally, everybody needs a Stephanie in their life. Like, I don't know how she's always so nice and such in a good mood. And I just need whatever she's drinking. So love you, Stephanie. Thank you so much for sharing. Next is Jennifer Peterson, the PRV queen of Simply Grace and Grit. And I know that she was having some issues with her camera. Oh, she's there. Awesome. Take it away.
Yeah. Hi. I don't know about PRV queen. It's a little bit of pressure, but I'm Jennifer Peterson. I live in Washington State, but I'm originally from New Jersey and went to college in Massachusetts. So bi-coastal, I guess, is a way to put it. But I live in Washington now. I joined Sensi 13 months ago, May 1st, 2021, and it's been a crazy year. I actually just joined because I wanted a discount on all the stuff I was buying, and then it became so much fun, so it became a business for me. Yeah, Sylvia, yeah, Jersey, that's right. Can't wait to see you at SFR. Anyway, so I take more of a businessy approach to my business, if that makes any kind of sense. I have 3 major points that I want to talk to you guys about, and I'll try to keep it to the 5 minutes too, because I am long-winded as well. Number 1 for me is strategic sharing. Share all the things, but don't share all the things at once. Make sure that you're not overwhelming your customers. One of the best examples I can give you of this is that I have a customer who loves all the character products. Did I know that we were going to have a few different character products this month? Yes. I watch the end of the month meetings. Those are vital to my business. Did I tell them everything that was coming out? No. Have I still told them everything that's coming out? No. Because I know in my mind's eye, if they know, okay, I've got Groot and then I've got Lilo, which one should I buy? But if they don't know about both of them, you increase your chances of them wanting both of them. So this person in particular bought Groot today. And now about a week away or so, where are we at? Probably when I come back from SFR. Actually, no, it comes when we come back from SFR. Probably while I'm at SFR, I'll share on my VIP page about Lilo. And I know she's going to want to buy Lilo too. She's not the only one. I have shared Lilo with a few people. The people that I've shared Lilo with were people who have specifically asked about Lilo in the past. And I've not been able to have it because it was out before I was a consultant. So those ones that I knew were looking for it, I gave them the heads up right at the end of that meeting that, hey, it's coming, look out for it. Knowing full well that those were people that were only going to buy specific things. And that's fine. The other way that I strategically share is my scent of the month flyers. I get that every single month, regardless of if I want the warmer or not. So most months I get the warmer. This month I'm opted out, but most months I get the warmer, but you automatically get those flyers with the scent of the month. Those flyers go out to all my customers. I have several customers who are not on social media. I could share it all I wanted on social media and they would never ever see it. So I send that scent of the month flyer out the last week of the month, knowing that, okay, they know the first is coming. They know they can get this on the first. And I got several orders just from that. That little camper warmer, I knew was going to be a biggie. So much so that I think I had 500 PRV either on the first or second of the month this month. And mainly it was because of that camper warmer. And it was because of the beefed up whiff box. I knew that those 2 things were going to be huge. Christmas time when we had the camper warmer, I think I purchased 2 of those and they sold at my events like that. So then when I saw that 4th of July, we were getting another one, I was like, oh yeah, that guy's going to go. And I've already sold 2 of those. So, I mean, personally sold 2 of those, more online, but I purchased 2 and they're gone. So that's a big boy. So that brings me to my next point. You need to know your customers. If you're new at this business, most of us are new at this business, but if you're brand spanking new at this business, you don't yet know your customers. You don't know their history. You don't know necessarily what they're going to be looking for, but as you go along, start trying to remember those things. If you're not somebody who has that memory, write it down, come up with a plan for how you can connect people back to the products so that when you're watching that end of the month meeting, something pops up, you're like, whoo, I know who that's for. That's where you want to be because you know that you're where your PRV is coming from. For instance, I met this customer at an event about 2-3 weeks ago. She ordered a bunch of 9 Realms bars for me. Well, Groot was coming out. Guess what? I still had that girl's number in my phone from texting her about getting the 9 Realms bar. Just checked in with her to remind her that it was today, and she's just placing her order now. Boom, easy sale. Somebody I didn't know before, but I met her at an event, followed through, and I know what she wanted. And of course, use those reports that you have. Those reports, for those of us who have been consultants for longer than a few months, find things that are similar. Maybe they bought the whiff box last month when it was all beefed up. Well, this month's even better, in my opinion. So get that whiff box sold. Or maybe they looked and they bought the Groot, sorry, not Groot. So that would be cool. Minions would be cool. The Groot, the buddy when I was out last time. Well, guess what? Now we've got the warmer. Maybe they want that too. So use those things that are at your disposal. The workstation is your best friend. It floors me sometimes when I go into these different groups and people are like, one thing I saw the other day was, hey, my customers are getting a Send Circle in their packages this month. Where did that come from? Do you not read the workstation? Like, it just blew my mind. Like, I don't even know. Sorry, that was a tangent. I went off on a tangent. So moving on to my next point is events. I'm not big on the online parties. I do the online parties. I personally don't feel like I do a good job with the online parties. I just don't. I don't feel like you get the full effect of how I'm into my Scentsy business from doing an online party. I like doing the in-person ones, but I still have a lot of people. COVID's still really big here. In fact, my daughter just had COVID. There's not a whole lot of people out here in Washington that are doing in-home parties still. So the online, you're sweet, Stephanie. Thank you. The online parties are the way to go. And a lot of people just don't want to participate. They don't want to be online at 7:00 on Wednesday night to play a game. They don't want to have to sit there and watch me do my spiel. They want to shop when they want to shop. So parties aren't pulling in a whole lot of PRV for me, but events are. I do several events every month. My minimum for events is 2. I typically do 3 to 4 a month because that's my thing. I do the events. From the events, I get PRV. 1 for my inventory because I need stuff to sell, obviously. And 2 from taking people's orders when I'm there. Now, there's a huge asterisk to this because I've met people that have told me horror stories about other Scentsy people. If you take somebody's order, especially if you take somebody's order and take their money, deliver the product. I have another vendor friend who she makes homemade wreaths and stuff, and I've seen her a few times. She ordered from a Scentsy consultant in February. She ordered 6 bars of vanilla bean buttercream, paid for them, has not gotten them to this day. To this very day. And I've seen her text messages back and forth with the Scentsy consultant. She's asked her several times to mail them to her, that she'd pay for it out of pocket, et cetera, et cetera. Scentsy consultant will blow her off most of the time or be like, oh, I totally forgot to meet up with you. I'm like, girl, you need to ask for your refund. She's not my customer because of that person's faultiness, but don't lose your customers because of your faultiness. Make sure that you are taking care of your people. So if you promise somebody that you're going to order something for them, order. I had people this past weekend ask me for certain items, and I said, well, I'm going away to Scentsy conference, so I'm not going to be at any sort of events for the next couple of weeks. I'm not going to do another order till the end of the month. Can you wait for the items? And they were like, absolutely. But I was honest with them. I wasn't going to be like, oh yeah, I'll have it for you next Saturday. I knew full well I wasn't going to have it for them next Saturday. There's no point in lying. It's not going to get you any customers. Make sure that you're honest with your people. Also, events give you a customer base outside of parties. Gives you customer base outside of parties, outside of your friends, and outside of your family. People that you wouldn't normally encounter. There are event pages everywhere. I don't know if anybody's asking that. I have been asked that before. But like in Washington, we have vendor groups. I'm sure they're everywhere. But look in your local town pages. Look on school pages, church pages. Find an event. Do that. Just do one. Do one. Challenge yourself to do one, just to see if maybe that's your forte. That might be great. Maybe you're great working with people. I'm extremely introverted. Like when I do my events on the weekend, I am exhausted by the time I get home because I've done too much peopling. In fact, I'm like, kids, stop talking to me when I get home. Like, just don't talk to me. But it's for my business. And if I'm not working my business, nobody else is. So challenge yourself to one event. See if that's what you do. Maybe that's better for you. Yes, girlfriend, you did a great job at your event and I had a great time training you. And then the last thing that I use is Amy. I use it for following up, for thank yous, for limited time edition things, because I can send them out to the people that I've seen have ordered things before. And I feel like people think that text messages are a lot more personal than emails or Facebook messages even, because it's coming from my phone. I've gone way longer than I'm supposed to, so I'm going to shut up now. Thank you.
You are good. You can keep going about Amy if you want to.
I'm not a huge expert on Amy by any means. I just started using it a few months ago, but it's such a good value. Like it's like, I think $7.99 a month. It tells me when people have made orders. Of course, I always check in and see that people have made orders, but it reminds me to thank them. It shows me when the last time is that they ordered from me without me having to go into my workstation. Also, it lets me check in and say, hey, do you need any refills? Often people will need refills and they don't think to order the refills until I've prompted them to. And Amy gives me that opportunity to do that. So people will be like, oh yeah, I meant to order. And then boom, Amy will have gotten that for me. Totally worth the $7.99 a month. I'm just saying. But yeah.
For sure. The one thing I was going to say about Amy that you talked about was a lot of people say, oh, well, it's too spammy. The messages don't sound like me. The biggest thing about Amy is that you use it as a guide. You don't have to literally send what's already in there. Maybe I think that's confusing to some people, but I personally, I don't send anything through Amy. I just use it as a guide of who to follow up with. So I know that Stephanie needs to be followed up. She hasn't ordered in 2 years. P.S. Y'all still come up in my Amy if you used to be my customer and they're like, so-and-so hasn't ordered in 3 years. And I'm like, you better not. But anyways, I use that as a guide to then go to Stephanie and say, hey girl, whatever. The other thing I was going to say about the camper, because that is a huge seller. I mean, we have to use what we're given. If you have not run a report for the Christmas camper, if you are around then, you need to go do that and reach out to every single person that ordered that Christmas camper because they love campers. Just a side note. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Okay, so I have a little tidbit, but honestly, I'm going to cut it down to something really short just because everything that we've gotten so far is so good. And y'all already know what I'm going to say because I say it all the time. But I do want to point out, okay, so sharing on social media, posting in VIP groups, all these things that we talk about, send weekly emails. A lot of people say, oh, well, it's the same thing, right? We talk about how to get PRV the same way a lot when we break it down to the technical things. But I think what a lot of people are missing is that we're not doing it consistently, right? So I was doing a little just research because I'm sure some of you have heard about you have to do something for 21 days to make it stick or to make it a habit. That was back in 1960 that they said that. The most recent research actually shows that it takes 66 days in a row to do something to make it a habit. That's more than 2 months. So when someone says, I do share on social media, I do post in my VIP group, I do send emails. Okay, but have you done it for 66 days straight? That's going to be my next question now because it has to be a habit, right? Posting in my VIP page for me, tracking my numbers for me, all of those things are literally a habit. It's something that I do in my business and I don't even think about it because I've done it consistently so much, right? So just keep that in mind that those things that we talk about a lot, The biggest thing is that they're consistent. Doing what works, I think, is super important. Once you find what works, like Jennifer said, she's really good at events. That's her thing. That's what she does. That's what she enjoys. That's what she loves about this business, right? Facebook parties are my thing. And I'm being completely honest with y'all. Facebook parties are not going very well right now, right? Either they don't want to party, or if they do, it's a minimal party. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing what works, which I'm going through my order history to see, okay, where are these people seeing these things to then order? Because having 1,500 PRV already for a bad month is pretty good. So I need to figure out, where are these people seeing it? They're seeing it in my VIP page. They're seeing it in my stories that I do consistently, right? They're seeing these things that are happening. And I'm sticking with that. Okay. So like I mentioned at the beginning, Cincy has given us a lot of things to work on or to work with, and we have to be doing those things. All right. So Megan Moody is up next. She is going to talk to us all about follow-up. Where's she at? Are you here? Yes, she is. Okay. So she's going to be talking to us all about the follow-up, which ties into the PRB. So Megan, I'm going to unmute. Go for it, girl. Cannot hear you. Unmute yourself. Okay, I'm going to ask to unmute you.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. So this is my first time doing this, y'all, so bear with me. I'm extremely nervous. Like, I texted Whitney earlier and was like, I'm already blacking out. That's why I don't like doing this kind of stuff. So I've been with Cincy. It'll be 2 years in August, I believe. And is it 2 years? I think it is 2 years. That's crazy. I still feel brand new sometimes. Like this month, I feel brand new. This is my toughest month. Well, last month was really tough too. So I just wanted to go over the importance of following up. And I'm sure if you are on this team, you know the importance of following up. Hopefully you do follow up, but maybe you've let it slip through the cracks recently. And so I just want to touch on why it's important. I always think about the times that I've ordered from someone else that's in direct sales and not gotten a thank you, not even a verbal thank you or anything for that sort. I've had parties for people. They've never sent me thank yous, and it really made me feel a little salty, to be honest. I can honestly say that I probably did not return to them for business. So it's super important to follow up, because you don't want your customers to feel like they're just another number or just another random person. Like, don't take the sale and just run with it. Make sure that they feel appreciated and that they know that you're grateful for their business. I always, y'all know I love Disney. If you follow me on social media, you know I love Disney. So I always compare things to Disney, and people always give us a hard time about, why do you go to Disney so often? Well, it's not just the resort and the parks. I mean, it's the customer service there. Like, we leave Disney and we still feel like we're at Disney because they send us stuff when we leave. We get promotions in the mail. They stay in contact with us, so we don't forget about Disney. So we want to go back. And to me, that's what I want my customers to think when, after they purchase something from me, I want them to think, oh, I'm going to go back and buy from Megan, because I'm still in the back of their mind. So I always, once someone has purchased from me, I send them a thank you, like a verbal, whether it's text message, email, hey, thanks for your purchase. Once I see that their order is shipped and they've received it, I always message and say, are you happy with your order? And then finally, I send them a handwritten thank you with a scent circle or a sample of some sort. I want my customers to know that I'm following them. I know their interests and I care about them. So follow-ups are super duper duper important. And if you're not doing it, you should be doing it. And then I also wrote down like examples of follow-ups. So obviously I just went over purchases and how you should follow up after that. But samples, if you're sending out samples and you're not following up after you send out samples, what's the point? It kind of opens the door for you to have a conversation with someone that's not awkward. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so nervous and paranoid about being spammy or cold messaging someone. But if you send them a sample, you have the opportunity to talk about, hey, did you like it? Did you not like it? It's not just spammy. So send out samples, but follow up. Same with party interests. People aren't going to come find you and seek you out for parties. If someone seems interested, follow up with them, because otherwise, what's the point, right? Join conversations is the same thing. These people aren't going to come seek you out. If they've discussed it with you, make sure you're following up with them as well. Otherwise, it's just a waste to even have the conversation. And then also keep a list of those join combos so that you can follow up with them, especially like months like this when we're having the join special. You've got that list you can refer to. You can message them and say, hey, by the way, there's a join special. And then it's not creepy. Let's see. What else did I have? Let me look at my notes. I've got 2 sets of notes, y'all. I'm so squirrely and ADD. It's not even funny. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I went through my notes. I don't even know if that was 5 minutes, but I'm super squirrely and nervous. So I'm done.
It's so good. It's so good. It's a huge part of the business, and a lot of people overlook it, or they say, oh, I don't need to get, she didn't message me, everything must be fine, right? And a lot of times, like, I'll be honest, sometimes I'm like, I don't really want to check in with them, and I get behind on my follow-ups, and that's where Amy comes in, where it's going to help you keep on track and to talk to those people. And you did have on here the social media comments interest.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right, I did. Yes, I see that now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, if someone, not even necessarily liking something, but if someone comments on something or shows interest in your social media post, that actually opens the door of opportunity for conversations too, without it being creepy. Because if they comment on something, they're interacting with you. They like your product. So always follow up. Y'all know I'm big on social media. I probably share too much. If there's a possibility, I probably share too much. I rely heavily on social media because I'm a stay-at-home mom and I don't have anybody to talk to. So use social media to your benefit and follow up just from a comment. Just be like, hey, I saw you liked that. Do you want to host a party and get it for free? Use social media as a free platform. I'm all about some social media.
Yeah. And like Megan said, as far as like having a reason to follow up, there's just so many different reasons within Cincy between our LTOs and our specials and I saw this and thought of you, whatever it is. So make sure, again, you're using that to your advantage. All righty. Next, we're going to talk about, Ashley Crabtree is going to talk about sponsoring because she is just on it. Where is she at? Sorry, y'all, have it on speaker view, so I can't see her right there. She is. Alrighty, so Ashley, take it away. She's going to talk to us about sponsoring.
So y'all bear with me. I didn't have a voice yesterday, but it's kind of back today, and I wanted to be on here tonight. So sorry about that. So sponsoring, I'm going to try to make it short and sweet. I should probably set a timer, but first things first, just remember, no matter where you are in your business, that sponsoring is a level playing field for all of us, whether you're a certified consultant or you're a superstar director, like all in between. And I've said it before, but like Whitney doesn't have a special formula or an inside scoop that a brand new consultant doesn't have, because we all have the same information, same workstation, same opportunities to come on team meetings and train and show up. And that's a personal decision. So I just want to start with that. It's a level playing field. So wherever you are in your business, this can apply to you. So I have 4 questions pretty much that I ask myself and that I would recommend you ask yourself when it comes to sponsoring. So the first one is, do you want to build a team? And that sounds kind of dumb, but what do you want out of your business? Excuse me. So some people just join literally for the commission, and that was me. And that's probably a lot of us. Whitney had talked to me about joining, and I'm like, nah, no, thank you. Eventually I did, because she's like, hey, dummy, like, you're already buying the stuff. like get paid. So she didn't call me a dummy, but so that's the only reason I joined, was to just get a commission check. And so I could tell my husband, I'm getting paid on my own purchases. Like, it's okay if I buy it. So, but my mindset changed once I saw the potential of like where I could go with Cincy. So I just want you to ask yourself, what do you want? Like, do you want to grow in the business? Or are you content with just a paycheck? Because you can still make some killer paychecks and not have a team. I mean, you can bust your butt and get PRV and make killer paychecks. And if that's where you are, just let your director know, let your superstar director, whoever, let your upline know that. And that's totally cool. Like, we're all welcome at the table. So do you want to build a team? Do you want to advance? Because not unfortunately, but with Cincy, you can't grow and rise in the company without sponsoring. It's not a recommendation, like it's a requirement. And if I've said this before too, in another training I did, if there was a way, I would already know about it, because I didn't want a team and I would have already like tried that route. So again, if it's the paycheck, keep rolling with your PRV. But if you really want to advance in the company, you want to make it a full-time gig, sponsoring is not an option. I mean, it's a requirement. So the second thing I would ask you is, are you actually having joint conversations? And ask yourself that, and be honest with yourself. Are you actually sharing the opportunity with people, however that may be? So you have to get out of your comfort zone. We talk about comfort zones a lot. Excuse me, I'm gonna get a sip of water. You have to get out of your own head, and you can't fear the no. So if you go into a joint conversation with expectations, you're bound to be disappointed. So if I share the opportunity, I don't have expectations. I hope they say yes, but I'm prepared for the no. I'm prepared for the yes. So we just plant seeds. And if you're planting seeds, that's all you can do. So go in with zero expectations, but you have to actually be having conversations. Like, you can't just say, I casually mentioned it. Oh, did you ask them? Did you present the opportunity? Again, sponsoring is not a requirement, but if you want to advance in your business, it is. So the choice is up to each of us. So also, when you're having these conversations, make it about the other person. It's easy to get hung up in our own personal numbers, but make sure you're sharing the opportunity and not an obligation. Like, you're not just doing it because you have to. You're sharing an opportunity for their sake, which in turn will bless you, hopefully. Things will grow in your own business, but you're hopefully going to bless their life and share an opportunity that could change their life. So it's not about you, make it about them. And I think it's a lot easier to share the opportunity when it's not about you, because you don't have those expectations. You don't have that letdown when, oh man, like my numbers aren't. Forget about it. Do it for them. Be generous, like Stephanie was talking about. And remember that it's about others, and you'll be blessed by it. So just like we talk about with the products, same thing with the joint opportunity. Share it, don't sell it. Don't be spammy. If you are just join my team, nobody cares. So the third question that I would ask, I've asked myself, and I would recommend you ask, kind of goes along with that. But are you being authentic when you share? Are you being spammy? Do you really want to sponsor? I tell my teamies when they sign up, I don't know everything. I've been doing it not quite a year and a half. There's a lot I don't know. But guess what? You're about to join me in a team, and they do know it. I guarantee if there's a question I don't know, give me a minute. I can go on the team page. I can go on the workstation and have an answer for you. So you're not just joining me, you're joining a huge team of people that are here to help you, because that's what we do. We're a family. We're authentic, and that's the way it should be. So again, when you make it about others and not your personal numbers all the time, you're bound to be successful. So are you being authentic? Are you telling them about the perks? Are you telling them about what Cincy has done for you personally? Are you talking about the trips, the incentives, the paycheck potential, the double dipping that Cincy allows us to do that a lot of companies don't allow? So we can host our own parties, get commission, and get hostess rewards. I mean, that's a great perk. That's kind of, better than just the paycheck. I mean, you're getting a check and product. Make sure your customers know that. Make sure the people that you're talking to know that and be authentic about it. Hey, that's why I joined. The commission, the hostess rewards, make sure they know that, because if you don't tell them, they're not going to know. They're not going to see that just in a flyer. They're not going to see that in a Facebook post. Have the conversation. Make them want your job. So when you're being authentic, make them want what you have. If you're talking about, shipping takes forever, or gosh, the clearance section wasn't that great, or whatever. No. You're not going to sponsor. Make people want your job. I'm not saying be fake or anything, and it's all happy and great, but these products are great. I mean, we use them. Be honest, be authentic. And then the last question, I don't know where I'm at on time, but sorry, I know I'm probably way over, is do you actually know how people can join? So do you know about the $99 join opportunity that's on our website 24/7? Do you know that? Do you know how to flip a party? Do you know what our join specials are, since he throws join specials at us every single month? Well, not every month, but pretty often. Do you know that you can offer your host exclusive kit to from your catch-all party to customers, to friends, to family? And I'm going to sum it up with this, but something I mentioned in another training was I personally try to keep more than one catch-all party open every single month. So I will open a catch-all party for myself. And when that hits $200, I open another catch-all party. And I kind of let that first one just simmer around $200, because anytime you have a $200 party, you have a host exclusive join kit that you can offer to anyone. So I let that one simmer, because I don't mind giving $20 in credit to incentivize somebody to snatch the kit. And I always have a host exclusive kit to offer. So if somebody's like, hey, I'm interested, or hey, I don't have to say, I'll get back with you when I have one. I already have one in my back pocket, and I can offer it to them right then. And so if nobody bites on it, then I will, work on that next party. And eventually when they get to $500, I take advantage of the free shipping and I close them. But I always try to keep a host exclusive kit available to offer, because you never know when you're going to get that random person or whatever to join you. So that's the 4 things I would ask yourself and be honest with yourself about. Have those conversations. know where you want to go in your own business. And then know how people can join, because they don't know if you don't know, and you got to be able to tell them. So, sorry about this voice, but thank y'all for bearing with me.
No, so good. Because how much, if we've been doing this a while, how much free Scentsy do you really need? I mean, I'm over here swimming in it. Let's be real. You don't need to that's a perk. Absolutely. If you have an eye on a warmer, do your catch-all party and do all the things and get that warmer for free. But in the long run, if building your business is one of your goals and building your team, huge opportunity, right? So guys, if you don't have notes from tonight, you're going to need to rewatch, because there's just so much gold that is going on. But I want to, and I told you at the beginning, I was going to come full circle with this about feeling discouraged in your business, because that's something that's happened with a lot of us this month and maybe the last couple months. I got to change this view real quick. Okay. So it's funny that Ashley had the questions that she asked herself. I want you guys to ask yourself these questions if you're feeling discouraged in your business. Because y'all know the way that I work, I'm a very black and white person, very simple, very technical, like these, 1 + 1 = 2. Like there's no way around that, right? There's nothing else that works. So I go back to the technicality of our business and doing what works and doing the things that I know I have seen. There is no gray. I am so sorry. I'm not sorry, but that's just who I am. I was born this way. So some of the questions I want you to ask yourself if you're feeling discouraged, and I talked about this with one of my frontline today. First things first, how many people have you had one-on-one combos with about partying this month, about life, about following up, about anything that has to do with your customers? How many one-on-one conversations have you had? Okay. Are you watching the trainings on the groups? If you're in Simply Grace and Grit and Legacy Leaders and you're not watching the trainings that are on there, you need to watch them. They're there for a reason. I ask people to go and do those for a reason. If not everyone is for everyone. If you don't enjoy or you don't get ideas from when you watch my trainings, don't watch my trainings. There's so many other people that train on Simply Grace and Grit and Legacy Leaders that do provide it, and that goes for everyone else. It's nothing personal. I promise you, I don't take it personal, but if you are in a rut in your business, go watch a training. If you can't find one on one of our groups, which is insane, go to YouTube and put in Scentsy. There's just so much. We have trainings every Tuesday through our company. We have Tip Tuesday in Simply Grace and Grit. There's no shortage of it. Okay. So are you watching a training? Doesn't even have to be in our group. I'm an SSD and I try and listen to a training every single day. Okay. Some people say I don't have time for that. If you're in a car or you're fixing dinner or you're at a soccer practice or a soccer game, if you plan and you're intentional about it, you absolutely do have time to listen to a training. Okay. The third question is, are you sharing consistently? Guys, you're going to hear this over and over again. Catalog items, current specials, LTOs, social media, one-on-one emails. To go back to those one-on-one conversations, every single person who spoke tonight, who are very successful in their business, every single person hit on some type of one-on-one conversation that needed to be had. If you're not having those one-on-one conversations with people, that's where it needs to start. Okay. Are you showing up in your business and for your team if you're a leader? So what does that mean? That means you're working your business. That means you're showing up and you're putting intentional time into your business. Okay. And you're showing up for your team. So AKA, if you're a leader, when's the last time you shared how you're working? I don't care if you're a lead consultant with one teammate. When's the last time you shared with your team how you're working? If my office is pretty clean other than the mess behind me, but say that I wrote a note on my sticky note and it helped me get an order, I'm going to share that because I'm a leader, right? And I want you to ask yourself that. If you're feeling in a rut, if you're not paid title, if you're not where you want to be, all of these things are for a reason. And the last one is, how many join conversations have you had this month? If you come to me about a sponsoring issue, that's the first thing I'm going to ask you. If you're not ATF and you're sponsoring, I'm probably not the one to help you. You have to ask, track, and follow up with sponsoring. In my opinion, is what I have found to work for me. If you find another way that works for you, awesome, share it. Okay. That's all there is to it. If these numbers or these answers are low on these questions, this is not a J month issue. This is not a world inflation issue. This is a discipline/commitment issue within yourself. And I know that that may be hard to swallow, and you may not like to hear that, but I want to be your friend, but I'm not here to be your best friend. If you're here to build a big business and you're coming to me about an issue, I'm going to ask you these questions, and I really want you to think about it, right? Because I want what you want. If you want a big business, I want to help you get there. Asking these hard questions, having this self-reflection on yourself to say, I'm really just using this as an excuse. I'm not having conversations. I'm not asking people to party. I'm not doing these questions. I'm not doing the answers to these questions. I'm not working my business. You have to have that upon yourself. And I only say that because I've been there, right? We probably all have, where we're like, I'm not really, it's just not my month. It's, I'll just start over next month when SFR is done, my fire's lit. Like, I know not all of y'all can relate, but like, this is my livelihood. This is what puts our food on the table. So this is something that is a non-negotiable for me. I was listening to a training today. Good Lord, who was it? Oh, it was a director call. And Christina Stainbrook was talking about how there is no negotiation with what she says she's going to do. There's no question if she's going to work her Scentsy business or not, right? It's just going to happen because it has become a habit of hers to show up. And if it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be easy. And she's going to take that step to get it done, right? So I want y'all to ask yourself those questions. I'm going to provide the notes from everyone tonight. So if you miss something, it will be in that. But I hope you took your own notes, because a lot of times everyone who spoke tonight really hit on different points of our PRV, right? So what I have to say about PRV was totally different than Stephanie's take on it, right? But Stephanie knows what she's doing. Stephanie is a bomb. She's always at the top. She's always top 10, right? So her sharing that and how she thinks about her business instead of, I'm a numbers person, right? And she just took a totally different spin on it. I want you to remember that too, if you're a leader, for if you're not sure what to train on. There's so many different sides of our business. So like the 3 legs are the most like concrete things we need to do. But the way that I talk about PRV is going to be totally different than the way that Kara talked about PRV and what she does and what she focuses on with that. So just another proof of the importance of sharing, no matter what your title is, how long you've done this. And it's just because it may be different than what I'm doing, or maybe what some of our top leaders are doing. If it's working for you, it may work for someone else. Okay. So yes, decorate your own will. Absolutely. No one is telling you have to have a certain color will. You have to do it a certain way. And that's the beauty of our business, right? When people share what they're doing, it's working for them. It may not work for you. That's okay. Right. But if you're not willing to try, that's where we get back into the discipline and the commitment of our business. So I hope you got something from this. I know I did. Thank you to all the speakers. I really appreciate you taking time out of your night. We went a little long tonight, but I think it was worth it. And I will see a lot of you next week. And if not, I'll see you next month at our team meeting. Bye, guys.